Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Thursday, August 25th, 2022. Just 6 days left of August, week 0, 2 days away. The FedEx Cup going on. Rory says triple out of the gate, birdie, bogey, birdie, eagle. I was talking to Dubsy here yesterday around this time, and I asked him that question. I was like, having Scheffler at minus 10 and everyone else below him, can you play yourself out of it on Thursday? In other words, you are on chase mode from the first hole. Now, if you're trying to get 2, 3, 4 under per day, that's one thing. But someone like Rory is a perfect example. If you are aiming at sticks, you're going to bogey a lot of holes, or triple bogey, I should say, but you're going to birdie and eagle a lot too. So, I had mixed emotions about this tournament. I've been saying for a while, Scottie Scheffler's leaking oil. But when I sat back and took an overview, I kind of compared it to the Masters where, when he was ripe, when he was playing great golf, he got out to that box to wire lead, it seemed like, in the Masters. And then Cam Smith tied him, and they got to the 9th to 10th hole, and they both flubbed their second shot, and they're both below the hole. They both rolled down, and Scottie Scheffler chipped in, and Cam, I think, bogeyed, and the rest was history. So I'm kind of curious, is Scheffler going to do that stiff arm this whole tournament? Because he's got the iron there. He's got Scheffler. He's got Cantlay. He's got a boatload chasing him, and someone could come from back. No one was talking about a Sam Burns. Riley talked about Tony Finau. There's a bunch of names. They're the best in the world that aren't over on live, I should say, sarcastically, tongue-in-cheek. But the point is, will Scottie hold them off is the question. ECSI VIPs 1-0 last night. Riley's White Sox minus 112. Slow start, 3-1, 5-1. Give up a 2-run homer in the 9th to make it 5-3, but we get it home. That is our 4th win in a row for ECSI. 4-1 this week. And again, you slow the process down. You don't need to force the action. We're not running to the window, to bet DeGrom tonight minus 425 and 430 and a bunch of that other happy horseshit. But anyways, I have a special to talk about. I want to bring Riley in first. So without further ado, from the Windy City himself, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, my friend. Happy Thursday. The single squad themselves, the Chicago White Sox, 12 hits, all singles, finally gets the job done yesterday for you, and some nice Giolito positive regression. I apologize. My voice might be a little raspy, getting over the old the COVID. So I'm staying inside, but only minor symptoms. But my voice is definitely feeling it. But nonetheless, I'm feeling all right. I'm happy to be here. We've got good stuff going on this weekend. Got golf in front of my eyes right now. I've been looking at college football stuff all damn day. So what's the special you got to bring to the table right now?
I call it a Vegas special, okay? So we follow the numbers around the clock. We're your sports broker. So when I go to bed, I take a snapshot. I get up in the morning, take another snapshot, and then we just process it from there. So we really have about 18 hours in on every card because we get them the night before around 5, 6 o'clock when they come out. Well, a lot of people don't have time to follow the market. They have their own ways. They go to certain websites. They do whatever they do before they place their wager. This is just a classic, okay? Last night, excuse me, one of the hottest teams in August, the St. Louis Cardinals, who lost last night, correct? 7-1?
Correct. Yep.
So they were 17 now and 5 in the month of August. They're just raking the ball. They didn't last night. Everyone's due for an off night. We're minus 120, minus 125 this morning. So then I always say when a game gets stale, Vegas does a little shake. And you can see this when all the sports books start to move the number at the same. So next thing you know, the Cardinals go from minus 125 to 120 to 115 to 105 to miraculously the Cubs close at minus 115 or 110. So
and you're talking about for today, you're talking about, right?
Correct.
Right.
So for the average person that doesn't have time to follow, what do they see? They're going to follow where the money's going. They're going to say, holy shit, how in holy hell is Stroman favored now over Hudson? They must know something. So, because there's no way in holy hell you're going to bet the Cubs today, unless you're a diehard Cubs fan, or the fact that you saw they went from plus 115, plus 118 to minus 115 and say, holy shit, look at that reverse line movement. Look at that steam. Holy cow. Look at the Cubs. The Cubs are the play today. Stroman's the play. 6-2 Cardinals, bottom of the seventh.
I won't say thanks for playing, but just about thanks for playing. No, I saw it too, and I had to look a few times too hard, and then I was doing this research this morning, and then I realized this wasn't going to be the game's going to be at this point by the time we're talking, so I kind of deleted it out and took it out of my card because something was fishy going on there. But it's not quite thanks for playing, but just about. And sometimes this Cubs team, when they get one win under their belt. And some momentum in the stands. The Cubs faithful at least likes to buy in a little bit. We talked about them; they're scrappy for the most part. So, the Cardinals get back on track. Not quite done yet, but they're mostly getting on track. But yeah, it's 100%. It is worth. If you can't look at it, find an app that will give you a breakdown of from the moment the line opens all the way down to any movement that is happening today, because that does exist. And so if you can't follow it like you're talking about and spend 18 hours looking at this stuff, then, at least got to look back and see what type of movement it is making on an hour-to-hour basis almost sometimes.
Golf, go ahead. Flex, put the chest out a little. Your man had started with minus 10. It was everyone else to come. I mean, I know there's 72 holes, and I know each hole that he checks a box is a step closer from holding up the FedEx Cup. What's the current standings as we speak, and give us your thoughts right now at Thursday around 4:30.
Yeah. Right now we're looking at a 4-shot lead for Scotty over Schauffele is right behind him, 8 under total score right now. He's 2 under for the day, Schauffele. And then you got a nice little pack. Cam Young was one guy we mentioned yesterday. He's got one of the nicer scores so far. He is through 14. He's at 7 under. He is playing well. A couple guys shot 5 under. I think that was the best of the day. Wise and Poston. Probably 2 of the lesser-known names that I wouldn't expect to continue doing that all tournament long. But obviously, that's like you talked about. Those are the 2 guys that did go aggressive, and it worked out for them. And yeah, looking at as you were talking about that, just pulling up Rory's scorecard, and 8 of the first 9 holes got some type of color going on with him. It's crazy to see right there, right? Cam Young, I'm still looking at him, and when he's been on like this, it's been for the most part at least 2 or 3 or 4 days of nice scoring. So I don't think this one's done yet. But like you said, when Scotty's gotten out to this lead, it's been pretty tough to catch him. And I think that's where we're at. But I think we'll have some drama Saturday and Sunday. I'm not quite going to the window to lock in the minus 110 for Scotty just yet. But if you're gun to my head, I think he wins it. But I do think it's going to be a little more drama filled by the time Sunday comes around.
Where is Sam Burns right now?
Burns is 6 under. He's 1 under for the day, so he's right there. My guy Matt Fitzpatrick, I mentioned him yesterday. Posted what he's posting. I am liking him a little bit more. He's 6 under, 3 under for the day. He's right in front of my eyes on 15 right now. If he can get a few back and keep doing kind of like you said, as being one of those guys that might be able to post -2, -3 each day, that might be a guy that gets himself up there and just a grinder. If we're talking about him and someone else in a 1-2 stroke difference, then I like his chances there. So we'll see how that plays out for him. But a couple guys shooting nicely. Cantlay's one of the only guys at the top that's over par for the day. He's 1 over for the day, 7 under total through 10. So I expect him to bounce back a little bit. Maybe just tread a little bit. But it looked like it was raining pretty hard. I was doing some work and kind of having my eyes on the side. It looked like it was raining hard. So that obviously looked like it affected some guys as well. So not sure if that's what we'll see throughout the weekend as far as weather. But, it should. I think it's going to tighten up here. And, Scotty's only 2 under for the day. So curious to see if he keeps it rolling and maybe just kind of treads water for the next couple days here.
if you go back to the Open for a second before we move on, and the difference and the mindset from being the hunter or being hunted. And in that final round, you had the two leaders, and you had Cam Smith in the second or third group behind them. And he just, the putter caught fire. I'd be all in on him if I just didn't think there's too much going on with the live thing. Listen, he's had an amazing year. And I love the kid. I love everything about him. I love the mullet. I love a golfer that gets a putter that hot that can just put together 4 or 5 straight birdies. And put yourself in his shoes. Listen, you're young. You're from Australia. You've had an amazing year. And someone comes up to you and says, here's $100 million. You're
Right.
set
And
for
it was
life. Kids are set for life.
And not to cut you off, but it was at the point where he was at probably the peak of what his career has been so far, and so you feel like you're about to be on the mountaintop, and now you've got all this backlash. So yeah, it does seem like it's affected him a little bit. He actually just birdied right in front of my eyes right now, so he's at 5 under for the day. Bogey then birdied, so he's back at 5 under. So I don't know if he's going to be able to do that like that. We've seen so many of these tournaments where the guy or two guys that are kind of 3, 4, 5 strokes ahead of the rest of the pack don't always have the best Sundays. And I would say maybe Scotty's been really the exception to that, and obviously maybe 1 or 2 times with Cam Smith. But Scotty's really been the exception this year as far as having that nice lead and actually maintaining it, whereas we've seen so many. Obviously, we've made some nice money this year as far as the take the top off of the board and look down. And so if Scotty's there and he's got the 4-shot lead or whatever it is on Sunday, then I'll give it to Scotty. But if it's 2 or less and somebody else is there, then I think it's game on. We've got some value with somebody else there on Sunday.
I had my 4th online championship draft last night. I was on Sirius after to talk about it. They asked me to come on. You'll be happy to know, again, I went wide receiver heavy. We did get a piece of Josh Allen early, but I have the combination A.J. Dillon with Ramon Stevenson. I am going wide receiver heavy. I am sold. I know those are quote unquote number 2 backs or 1A, 1B backs. Yeah. I love them both. And I'm using this as a lead in because, listen, I don't root against anyone. I believe in karma. I'm not putting voodoo dolls on Damian Harris or Aaron Jones. I think they all can work together. Yeah. With that said, week 3, NFLX, your Packers travel to Kansas City, 1.5 point favorites. 37 and a hook under over. Vegas is telling me 2017 Green Bay. Just get out of Dodge, get back home, and get ready for 2 weeks. How's the temperature? How you feeling? I mean, I know everyone's in bubble wrap, but anyone in particular we should be looking for this week?
The story here, for the most part, historically, the Packers over the last handful of years haven't been that great in the last preseason game. But what I will say, this is a little bit different to where you're kind of getting the same 1 or 2 units for the most part for these Packers games, whereas a lot of these teams are going with 3, 4 units still, whether that's starting their guys, their starters for a few plays and then, cycling through. The Packers have had, for the most part, they haven't had really any of their starters play, and so you're getting a lot of Jordan Love, and then you're getting a lot of these other guys that are kind of on the cusp of being starters so they can do something. So kind of what I'm saying is I think there's some optimism that the Packers can do this tonight, and Jordan Love's really improved week over week since we've seen him play. Not saying he's going to be anything special, but at least I think the Packers might have some value here today. But, the fact of what kind of what I said as far as not a ton of success in that last preseason game, looking forward to week 1, actual week 1. So, if they're going to get it done, I think it's going to be a nice Jordan Love performance. Like I said, he's been improving every time. So, I'm feeling good about it. Going back to what you said about A.J. Dillon, the only thing we haven't really talked about him when we have talked about those guys, the red zone efficiency that I think A.J. Dillon is going to have with now no Davante Adams there for Aaron Rodgers to, the 50-50 ball, which with Davante Adams isn't a 50-50 ball. You don't have that luxury now, and so if you're 5 yards in and you're giving the Packers 3-4 plays, Aaron Jones probably going to get the ball at least one of those times, if not a couple of those times. So I think you've got a hell of an opportunity for some huge upside there. But, feeling solid about it. You're right, bubble wrap for the most part, but the units that we have been seeing, I've been pleased with for the most part, and I think we should see a decent performance and probably a pretty close, good matchup for what it's worth for the preseason here tonight.
Any update on Tanyan?
Not that I know of. Bakhtiari has been the most positive news as far as coming back. Tanyan, I'm still not positive about. how soon he's going to be, if he's 100% or not. I'm going to see if I can pull it up right now. Yeah, nothing really crazy. Still kind of working off to the side for the most part in these practices. So maybe not going to be 100% ready for that first preseason game, but he's for the most part running without his brace and whatnot. So optimism for sure for the season, but yeah, maybe the first couple of weeks they'll probably take it pretty slow with him, I would imagine, in the actual first 2 weeks of the season.
Any chance he goes back to the pup and then he takes the first 4 weeks off?
I would be surprised to see that. I would be surprised to see that. I think he'll be closer to, if he's not the first couple of weeks, I think he might be ready by week 3. But I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Well, I'm going to throw you a curveball, kid, because tomorrow I will be in stores. I will be dropping off my youngest, Kylie. She starts her journey at UConn tomorrow. Dad and Mom will be tears in our eyes because our nest will be empty. But, that's what the MSPCA is for. I'm going to fill this house up with, dogs and cats, and I'm going to live happy ever after. I'm going to week 0 because you're the Big Ten guy, and there's two Big Ten games. And before I give you the full stage, I'm just going to shout out that my UConn Huskies with Jim Mora, who's making his debut, are 27-point underdogs at Utah State. So take it easy on the Huskies, will you? If you don't, then we'll come and play in basketball, men and women. Yeah. All right. So, but take it away.
I don't have much strong thoughts on that. You can help us out better with UConn's chances in that one. Let's take the points, 27 points. Maybe they'll be a scrappy team. Who knows? But I've got the 2 Big Ten games covered, and then I've got one random one that I actually had some decent thoughts on. I'll get that one out of the way real quick, and not anything crazy. Later in the day, FAU hosted Charlotte, -7.5 for FAU. On paper, you're looking at that one. Both of them 5 wins last year. Probably thinking it's closer than a 7.5-point spread, but when you look closer, Charlotte is and was and will continue to be very, very bad. Willie Taggart, year number 3 for FAU. I think their defense is far superior to what Charlotte's going to be able to do. I think that 7.5 is really enticing you, trying to get you over to Charlotte. But I think there's going to be a blowout, and Florida Atlantic is going to take that one. So that's my random one right there. But then go ahead.
By the way, that is an under over a 60. So first one. So actually with an 8-pointer. 34. Yeah, so they're giving you the old 34-26 game.
Something like that, yeah. No, and they beat the brakes off of them last year. I think they do it again. That one, Charlotte is, I watched a decent amount of their games last year, and not much is going to change from what I'm seeing here. But moving into the 2 Big Ten games, I'll start with the Illinois one. Wyoming going into Illinois. I'll reveal the play. The spread is kind of rising up to 11 here. I'm torn on that spread, if I'm being totally honest with you. I give Illinois the win in this one, but I could see this one being in the 24-10, 24-14 range. And Illinois had a lot of cases over the last 10 years or so. Now it's Brett Bielema, so I think that tide's going to change where out of these 3 or 4 mid-major non-conference games that they have, they typically struggle with one of them. And in recent years, with recent regimes, you might expect this might be that struggle spot. But I think with Bielema, that's going to change as far as those random Mountain West or MAC teams coming into Champaign and giving them hell. But nonetheless, I'm going under in this one, under 44. The one thing that's glaring for me here in this one is Wyoming's rush defense against what I think Chase Brown for Illinois is going to have a really nice day. Wyoming was 99th in rush defense, rushing defensive yards per game last year, 99th and 99th in yards per attempt last year. Chase Brown, 10 games, 1,005 yards rushing. If you look close, if you are just looking at his game log, you might think, wow, this is really a roller coaster guy here. But then when you look closely, 3 games where he had, I think, 25 or more carries, and he had 147 yards, a couple of 200-yard games. And then the other games are either really stingy Big Ten run defenses or games in which Illinois gets down 24-0 in the blink of an eye, and they're passing for the rest of the game. So without those factors, and I think Illinois is going to be leaning heavily on him for the rushing game, I like him to have a really nice game. If I'm not usually a college football prop guy, but I did see him. It's a high number, but I think he has one of those games like I just talked about. 150 yards is kind of my prediction for him tomorrow. I think he's going to be that effective. And I think Wyoming's rush defense could regress even from that number that I just told you. And so I've got him 101.5 yards over for Chase Brown, and I think he's going to be the player of that game. Might be the best game of his entire season. And so that's really where I'm at with the 24-10, 24-14 prediction. I think that he paces that offense and kind of controls the game for him. And then on the other hand of it, the quarterback matchups for Wyoming, it's probably going to be pretty ugly. Andrew Peasley coming over from Utah State. Wasn't a starter, 18 games across 4 years. His over-under for tomorrow or on Saturday is 126.5. So kind of telling you that he's not going to have much success there, and I do firmly believe that. While Illinois is not going to have a banner year by any means, it's year 2 of Brett Bielema. A lot of turnover, still not quite getting his guys recruiting in there. So I do think it's going to be some growing pains this year, but at least culture-wise and maybe some schemes. And in this matchup particularly, I think they favor well. Tommy DeVito coming over from Syracuse to be their starting quarterback this year. Wasn't the starter the last 2 years. Played 12 games, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions as a sophomore in 2019. So better than what their options were. Illinois never in my lifetime had a very good quarterback. Juice Williams back in 2007 was really the only person to make note of the year they went to the Rose Bowl. Go ahead.
Jeff George, that was before your time.
Yeah, that was I was in diapers when Jeff George was around. So it is typically a pretty yearly search for a quarterback, and when they've had even a close to relevant quarterback, he's typically gotten hurt. So interested to see there, but my point there is I give him the edge quarterback-wise. So, all that being said, from an Illinois kind of fanish perspective, I like them to have a nice game and win this one and maybe cover, but really unbiased opinion, I'm giving a 24-14 prediction, really straddling that line of the spread there, but a nice under 44 for my first prediction there in Illinois on Saturday.
No, I can see it. I do like the under there. Initial computer model was 9-46 in the hook. It is going down. I think that is the right side there. You talked about the head coach, offensively challenged while at Wisconsin for the most part. Always had a strong running game, a decent, defense there. Trying to now bring that to Illinois here, as you said, in year 2. Opened at 46 with a 44. The number hasn't changed. 44. There's a 43.5 at the Mirage and at Stations. And there's an 11.5 at our friends at South Point. Chris Andrews has bumped it up a half there, but flat 11s everywhere else. But I like where your head is there.
Yeah, and the last thing with Bielema, and then I'll move on. He had some criticisms about his offensive line. Obviously, that was his MO at Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's MO along with the running game. They got some grad transfers in there this year, so I think their running, rush blocking, pass blocking will be really improved. And I've got high hopes for Chase Brown for the most part. I'm not talking about him as a player of the year candidate because the Big Ten still got some stingy rush defenses. But when you've got these matchups where he's going to have a favorable matchup, I expect him to have a really nice day. Excuse me. So moving on to the next one, the game that everyone wants to hear about. You know what? You had me curious yesterday, and I've been talking for a while this offseason about Northwestern not getting enough respect, regardless of what they did last year, the 3-9 season, 1-8 in the Big Ten. Talked about how Pat Fitzgerald has only had one consecutive in 16 seasons, only one time consecutive seasons of losing football, and that includes a couple 3-win seasons, 4-win seasons. Where he's completely turned it around. So I'm still sticking to my guns on that one. I'm not saying Northwestern gets the win here, Jeff. But going over to Ireland, I do think this Northwestern defense, I think, is going to be a little bit improved. They got some defensive transfers as well. Really, it's going to be their defense holding up even just a respectable amount to get this cover. And then on their case, getting a nice run game. They get Cam Porter back. Did not play at all last year. Was supposed to be their starting running back last year. Had a really nice finish to 2020. Came onto the scene. He's going to be, if he's healthy, and it does sound like he is, he's going to be a really important factor. And could be a potential, actually pacing this rush offense against Nebraska here. So as much as everyone wants to talk about Nebraska, I get it. If you want to be on Nebraska, I'm 100% with you here. I've been seeing a lot of the money kind of leaning towards Nebraska in some books over the last 24 hours or so. So if you disagree with me, I totally understand. But just look back 1 year ago, week 0, Nebraska going into Champaign, Illinois, in game number 1 of Brett Bielema's tenure, a team that ended up only winning 5 total games themselves, put up a stinker in Champaign. So obviously they've got some talent coming in, but I'm going to go 24-14 games in the Big Ten this weekend. That's where I'm going. Both of them 24-14.
And I talked about the the bag game for St. Louis and the Cubs today. This game is really starting to look at it because when you break down at certain sites, the ticket count, the money, the influx, again, this game opened up at 10-10.5. So I can see Dave Sharapan at about 3 o'clock on Saturday with the CLV cans and the EV cans because this has gone from 10-10.5 to 11 to 11.5 to 12 to 12.5 to 13.5 now. And here's the thing, they're all moving the same, okay?
Yeah.
Which makes zero sense. So Nebraska wins. If the line stays at 13 and a hook, Nebraska wins by 14 or 17. That's number one. Or number two, it's the old hook, line, and sinker, and it's 9 or less. So it didn't matter. Any Nebraska ticket will be a losing ticket. You see what I'm saying?
100%. That's kind of where I'm at. I see Northwestern hanging with them. I guess I gave you the 10-point spread, but yeah, maybe 8-9 or something like that. And I'm seeing a lot of people tweeting out, "Oh, grab this one before it gets up over 14, or could be 14 by game time." And as soon as I start to see that, and I've already got skepticism about it, I'm interested. So, I mean, you can't predict. We won't know until it starts with the type of effects that traveling to freaking Ireland has on these 20-year-old kids, man. So, I'm happy to die on that hill if you want me to, as far as back at Northwestern and this being maybe just an ugly game. It's very possible it's an ugly game. And having said that, I know the positive regression is almost certainly to come for Nebraska, but some teams that just can't figure out how to win, that sticks with them a little bit. And like I said, not saying Northwestern gets this win. We talked about a month ago. If Northwestern does win, then Scott Frost is sticking over in Ireland for the weekend and for the rest of the season probably. But I think Nebraska will eke this one out, but I don't think it's going to be easy, man.
Listen, I'm a diehard Nebraska, Dr. Tom Osborne, Tommy Frazier, Irvin Fryer in 83. I bleed Nebraska, or I used to. 4th and 8, we call a timeout. The defense is looking right over at us, and we're telling you, we're running the ball right at you on 4th and 8, and you couldn't stop it. You couldn't stop it. It was just amazing. And I missed that so much. And I thought Scott Frost was an amazing hire. I thought he was finally going to wake the troops up. A sea of red back in Lincoln. He hasn't done it, and he got gifted this year. Let me tell you something. He got gifted one more year. There's no excuses. I know the under-over 7.5, and if he makes it to 8-4, they go to a bowl game, and they're not going to sing Kumbaya. Trust me. I'm looking for 9 to 10 wins this year.
Right, and it's going to be tough. I mean, you could even be looking at a better season, but a 7-8 win season, because after Ohio State, 2 through, off the top of my head, 7-8 teams could make the case as the second best team in this damn conference. So it's going to be tough, man. There's only really a few games that you might pencil in. And if this one was in Nebraska, I'd absolutely have so much less doubt that Nebraska would get this win. But, going over to Ireland for week 0, it gives me, the way people are buzzing about them, the way people are trash talking Northwestern, after what they just did. I've seen it for 16 years. Anytime Northwestern does what they do, they come around, and I'm not saying they go 7-2 or 9-2 and are going to be ranked and win in the Big 10 West. I'm not saying that. I've got over 4 wins, so I think they at least get to 5 wins, though, and are a frisky team week to week, and might be a good spread team, taking some double-digit points all year long.
Quick update, and I know this is slow, so I'll just give you my update. You can do a quick check. Schauffele now 3-back, -12 to -9.
Looks like it. I've got on my screen right there. He is -9, 3-back. You are correct right there.
You got a live update on odds, what you could get Xander for right now? I'm just curious to see what they're giving you with Scheffler and Xander. I know it's only Thursday.
Sure. Let's see. Scheffler on FanDuel, you're getting plus money, plus 135. Schauffele plus 310 on FanDuel right there. And then Cantlay 8-1, and then after that it's 14-1, I think, for Fitzpatrick. I'm gonna see if DraftKings has anything similar there. Someone tweeted out about an hour ago, if you're looking to build your bankroll, -110 Scotty Scheffler on DraftKings. So no disrespect there. If I'm sure if you waited 10 minutes, you can get plus money on it. I'm trying to find it here for DraftKings. Here we go. As it loads on my screen. 130 Scotty Scheffler on DraftKings, 4-1 for Schauffele, and 11-1 for Cantlay. So it looks like maybe some better prices over here for DraftKings for the golf outright odds, at least.
Get there quick. Open the thing. Baseball, one final. Tampa with Rasmussen, who's been great of late, beat Sandoval 8-3, and the Angels, bottom of the eighth. The Cards now up 8-2. Cleveland scores one in the first with Sticks McKenzie, my guy. Seattle comes back with a 3 spot in the bottom of the first. Let me guess, was it a J-Rod homer?
I don't know. I'm just we the White Sox need the Guardians to lose about 10 of their next 15. So,
well, they got. My guess would be someone hit a 3-run homer, because it was 1-0.
Haniger with a 3-run bomb. Yep.
Okay, so we're at bottom of the second there, 3-1 Seattle. That leaves us with 6 MLB games. We talked about Green Bay, Kansas City. San Fran at Houston. Opened up at 4, now 2.5 with a 40 and a hook. Quick math. 2017. We'll go 21-17. That's what they're saying. Something like that. Somewhere in there. So good luck, bubble wrap there too. But the board is yours.
Alrighty, yeah. Heading over back to the MLB. McKenzie. Were you projected regression from him? His last start was the 14 strikeouts versus the White Sox. Were you kind of expecting it this time?
Yeah, and he's been fabulous for us. And we've had 4 starters this week. We're 4-0. So, and then, of course, in comes Sticks as a short favorite in Seattle. And listen, we're not all Marco Gonzalez fans, but it smelled to holy hell. You get the one run lead in the first, you like this. But I think, honestly, it was a bad spot. After the Guardians sweep the Padres in San Diego, take the quick Uber ride over to Seattle. And here you got Sticks on the mound. As you said, big key pointer, coming off 14 strikeouts. It's almost like one of those no-hitters. I'm a little taxed. I didn't like the spot.
And the pricing of it, we talked about, I don't know if it was a week or so ago. I don't remember who they were playing, but does the public realize how good they're playing? And now the public absolutely does realize how good they're playing, too. So that played into it for what I was talking. I was hoping we could get it off before this one goes, but I didn't realize that one was already started. So Reds and Phillies is the next one up. At minus 385, somehow not the biggest number on the board today. Dunn versus Nola. Dunn, start number 4. He's actually worse versus righties. He is a right-hander who has been horrible versus righties. In 3 starts, he's given up 5 home runs, 4 of them to righties. And so I've got an early Castellanos plus 350 home run prop. The odds kind of seemed a little too good to be true, but as far as the reverse splits there, and the dude's been hitting well, I'm going to go Castellanos home run off of Mr. Dunn here today. But Nola's side of things, 5 earned run last time out. I'm going to be expecting, and the numbers kind of telling you expecting some positive regression on that. Anything to see out of this game here from you?
First of all, congrats on your plus money yesterday. First 5, 3.5 over. And I just wish I could just drag people to listen to our shows, because they don't go that extra mile. They'll look at the opening lines. They'll see the overnight lines. They'll see the way they move. But then some of them, they won't dig into the team totals. Then they won't dig into the first 5. That stuck out like a sore thumb. 3.5. It wasn't 2.5. It wasn't a flat 3. Everyone and their mother had under 3.5 there. There was no doubt in my mind.
Right. And what's his name? Zook. I tweeted back at you. That's 3 straight rough starts. I don't know how many hits he gave up yesterday, but that's might be our new weekly meal ticket. So we'll keep an eye out for him next time around.
A little Keuchel-esque.
I'm still begging for him to come back up here at some point, but I don't think we'll be so lucky at this point.
I mean, the only thing I can say here, and I know they're out there, there's people running to the windows and they're going to do a DeGrom and Nola 2-team parlay, or they're going to use those in money line parlays and then just sprinkle it in on Toronto for the sweep, Yankees to win, because it's not a great card. But you know what I'm saying? You can't get into that game, and you can't get into the Mets game.
No, 100% with you on that one. Let's go to that one next. There was an interesting stat about, so that Phillies game was the second biggest number. DeGrom and the Mets hosting Colorado, about -4. I'm seeing it down to 425 here on DraftKings, but -450 at other spots. Feltner versus DeGrom, ninth time that we've had -400 or higher. And the team that is favored is 2-6 this season when they are favored of -400 or higher. Are we going to see the same thing again and another our seventh loss, or is this DeGrom going to dominate the Rockies here today?
I don't know if the number is based just on DeGrom or how bad Fentner is. What did he give up? About 48 runs his last 3 starts? I mean,
it's not good. I'll double check right now. He's got a 5.88 ERA on the season. His last time was actually good outing, so you would expect some regression. He was 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run against the Giants last. Before that, though, the previous 2 were 5 earned runs each against Arizona and St. Louis, and he's had a handful of other 4 and 5 earned run starts. So good last time out, and now we're here today.
Yeah, I'll go back down memory lane to the greatest pitcher in my time. I got to see him live numerous times. I've got to meet the man. That's Mr. Pedro Martinez, the GOAT. He is my GOAT. And when he pitched at home, he was -2.5 runs. They had to win by a field goal or more. Now they let all the millennials out there, with the -1.5, -200 and juice, and they're baiting you to take them. Pedro, again, would be 2.5. And all right, you want to bet Pedro today? They're going to win by a field goal. Well, I'm betting baseball. I said, yeah, I know you're going to win by a field goal. So, right. Again, you can't get in there. Hey, listen, that's a great stat. So if you want some beer and pizza on Colorado, take a swing. We do know usually the Mets don't score for them, and the under/over is only 7. So who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, it's at least a 2-6 though. I knew there was a couple times where these teams have been frisky. I think you had the Royals without all their guys going to Toronto and get a win there. As there was a few, I think Detroit, Washington, and Kansas City were 3 of the spoilers. This will be Colorado's first time making the list, win or lose. So going to my neck of the woods, not in Chicago, but White Sox and Orioles. White Sox hit the win. Last night we talked about at the start, Lance Lynn and Trey Lyles. Last I checked, let me double check where we're at now. Similar prices yesterday, -120 for the White Sox. Lance Lynn has been solid the last 2. Lyles 4 earned run last 2. Same thoughts as yesterday, or are you thinking a little bit of a different script now? It's same exact line. Maybe the script flips today.
You are exactly where my Red Sox were. Once you win a couple in a row and you start to expect them to finally put it together, you're at that 500 mark. Let me see right now. You're at 2 games over 500, which is probably a season high almost. No, I'm being sarcastic there, of course.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
3 or 4 is the record, I think.
1 game ahead of Baltimore now. We're 4-1. We've won 4 in a row. I like the spot for Lynn. Overnight number had Baltimore -110. Wake up this morning and they flipped it. Listen, if you wanted to back your White Sox today and had them yesterday, I don't have a problem with it. I'm going to use the other approach because I haven't been on the Orioles. And I think the number is suggesting to me it's a good spot for the Orioles. I'm going to take my 1 unit yesterday from Mr. Jeets himself. I'm going to thank him. I'm going to thank Tony that he didn't fall asleep. I'm going to thank the bullpen. I'm going to thank the fact that they were up 4 instead of just 2. And I'm just going to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, I think that's the smart move in this one. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Lance Lynn, but to this point in the season, it would not shock me if he got blown up a little bit today. I will say, as far as another prop here, maybe a 2 bases plus money prop. Gavin Sheets in the 2-hole today. He is our lefty hitter against righty pitchers. Nice last couple of days, 2 hits, 3 hits, 3 RBIs yesterday. When he's hot, he typically stays hot for about a week, and he's from the Baltimore area, and so now he's got this. If you're buying any of these storylines, he's playing really well whenever he's in Baltimore. And like I said, when he's hot for a week, he's hot for a week. And so I think that momentum continues today. They threw him in the 2-hole for the first time all season, I think, and he's 2 for 4 career versus Lyles with the homer. So I'm going. That's my other prop of the day is maybe a couple bases for Gavin Sheets there in the White Sox lineup.
I like it.
Alrighty. 3 more games going back to where you are sitting right now. Toronto and Boston got the loss last night. Your Red Sox did. Blue Jays heating up, won the last 2, both in Boston. Gozman and Crawford. Gozman, 7 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs last time out versus the Yanks. Crawford, the opposite, 3 2/3, 11 hits and 9 earned runs versus the Orioles last time out. Where are you at tonight with this one? Seeing close to -200 odds for the Blue Jays in tonight's case.
The Red Sox, I think they're can you imagine this? I think they're 3-13 against the Jays, or 3-12 against the Jays this year. We just can't beat the East. We're just dropping like flies. Unfortunately, too many injuries. It's just one of those years, just playing out the string. I'm looking at team totals, which is kind of surprising. Under, over, a 9. Let me just double check. Yeah, 9 juiced under. They're baiting you here to take Toronto 4.5 over, only -135. The Sox are at a flat 3.5, -110.
Yeah.
This has got written all over it, 6-3 final. I can't back either one. If someone said, hey, I want to take Toronto first 5, take it minus the hook, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
You probably have a better shot of taking them full game minus the 1.5, because Whitlock went 2 innings yesterday. I don't think he'll be available tonight. I can't back the Red Sox. If you sent me $100 to bet on the Red Sox, I'd Venmo you 200 and tell you to take the bride out. They're that bad right now.
Yeah, interesting. Differing prices on different books. I see -195, like I said, in certain ones, 165 on FanDuel, -180 on DraftKings. Is that just different books having different opinions, or is it kind of different tactics here? Is that what you're thinking there?
Yeah, some of those books you get the square model. So instead of the, I call them 10-cent nickels, no one does penny numbers anymore. Circa's probably the best at it. You'll get for instance, right now, let me see here. I'll go 170 at Jazz, which is an offshore book, 165 at South Point, 170 at Westgate, and the square book here is William Hill. So they're at 180. So they'll give you the 180 on the favorite, -180, and they'll probably give you like plus 150 on the Red Sox. 175 at our friends at Circa. The highest I see, 185 right now at the Mirage. So
okay.
they're doing whatever they can to try to attract some Red Sox money. That's all they're trying to do.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. 2 more left. Going to Houston for the next one. Minnesota and Houston. Archer versus Garcia. Archer's been all right this month. 1 to 3 earned runs allowed, typically going about 4 to 5 innings. They have not really let him go through the third time through the lineup for the Twins over there. And Garcia, 3 to 4 earned runs allowed in each of his last 5 starts. Is this one anything to make out of this one? Is this a toss up in your eyes? Is this a Minnesota number, or are you seeing something else here in Houston?
No, you called it. It's the shortest number of the 3 games so far. Which Archer you're going to get? Again, you're going to get a solid 4 and 5 innings, and the bullpen's going to hold on. A Minnesota offense that has just been way too inconsistent. Right now, hovering at 62 and 60. Hats off to the Astros, 80 and 45, 35 games, over 500. Only trailing the Dodgers right now for the best record. Where are the Yankees right now? Yankees are 4 games back. It's a Minnesota number, guys, but I'm not telling you, again, to run to the window and play Minnesota. I'm just telling you, if you've been back in the Astros and you won the first 2 games, don't go up there doubling and tripling up, because it's not an Astro number tonight. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree with you on that one. It's it's a tough pill to swallow a little bit with Archer, because he doesn't typically go too long into these games, but I still don't think it really matters. I'm with you 100% on this one. Last one up on the board, Yankees and A's in this one. Taillon versus Caprillion for the A's, about -210 money line for the Yankees, -130 on the run line. Is this too good to be true, or do you think this one's fair for the Yankees here in Oakland?
Yankees are back, right? They won 2 in a row. Travel cross country. Caprillion, if you check your stats, coming off a bad game, right? I don't think he had a good game his last start.
Let's see. He was okay. 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. 2 earned runs each of the last 2.
So he's been pitching a lot better. Taillon, I called him Side Taillon for a while, was pitching great. As we speak now, right now, see, don't tell me people don't listen to our show. The South Point just moved it up to -230. How's that sound? And I just got a beat from Vegas as we speak too. So I think the whole world, this is a thirsty Thursday night special. Whole world's going to be on Yankees run line. We're back. We've won 2 in a row. We dominate Oakland. Let's get on board. Now, you could get a bad Taillon today. An under-over on Oakland only of 2.5 minus 135. So they think they're going to get to 3, number one. Number two, Yankees team totals only 4.5 juiced over minus 120, under over a 7 and a hook. It stinks to high heaven. Listen, you guys want to go run to the window and back the Yankees. God bless you. Go play a minus the run line. Play a minus 2.5. Play a minus 3.5. Play the judge props for 1 homer, 2 homer, 3 homers. But it smells. That's all it smells.
It does. I'm not taking the A's, but it does smell. SoCal DGen, your buddy SoCal DGen's got some stuff in the comments here. Reds money line plus Rockies money line parlay odds plus 1,700. 2 teams to win is 1,700 right there. 8-1 to the under when the dog line is greater than 280. In Oakland as dogs in first game of a series, 1-25 money line run. So as much as it does smell, well, that makes it smell even harder that it's at where it is. But yeah, I'm not going to be back in the A's, but. Yeah, it's one of these teams is one of these bad, stinky teams is going to get it done tonight. At least one of these teams, and so it's up to you to figure out who that is. I don't know.
Mr. SoCal, God bless you. Have a great Thursday and a better weekend. We miss you. We love you when you come on board. I can't wait every day when I see your tweets and hey, I'm included in there. I can't thank you enough. But yeah, that. He comes up with some amazing numbers. And, like you said, Oakland is a dog in the first game of a series, 1-25. Then why aren't the Yankees minus 300? I mean, they only have a 30-game lead on Oakland, 76-48 and 46-79. SoCal, you coming in for a little relief tonight or what?
I don't know. There these 3 of these games that, or maybe at least 3 of these games, at least one of these stinky teams is going to be a winner, and maybe one of these teams is going to win 10-0 or something like that, and then maybe there's one more that could fall under each category. But one of these stinky teams is winning tonight.
Before we close, last golf update. What are you saying?
Last golf update, Schauffele 9 under. Joaquin Niemann actually making his way up. He is 8 under, 4 back. Somebody's chipping out of the sand right now. Cantlay Fitzpatrick and Sungjae Im's the only name we didn't mention. He's 7 under as well. So, and I'm not sure where he's at. Hideki Matsuyama. I keep seeing him on the screen here. Let's get a double check on him. Nothing crazy there. I guess he's actually kind of struggling a little bit. But Morikawa kind of lurking around. He was 4 under for the day. We didn't talk about him at all. Jordan Spieth. Thomas kind of still about the same spot that they were. So Joaquin Niemann though 6 under finish for the day, 8 under total. So I don't know. Somebody's gonna shoot low and challenge Scotty for that lead tomorrow. I think, in my opinion, over here.
Does he still have a 3-shot lead? Is it 12-9?
Yeah, 12-9 right now.
Schauffele was my pick before they started the tournament. I'll see what it is. I gave ECSI VIPs 3 swings, 1 Rory at 10-1. It is what it is. If he makes a run, he made it a run. I did take a 650 plus 650 on Xander, and my sleeper was Burns. No one was talking about him the whole time. But Niemann's doing what I thought Burns might do. Niemann got me to the pay window in the Pat Mayo Cup, cash for $275 out of 4,400. So I was happy there. As SoCal DGen just said, he'll be in around the 5th or 6th inning. So don't go to the beer line. Don't go to the beer line, sir, in between innings, okay?
I've got some bad news about our free meal ticket. TJ Zook, our weekly free meal ticket, just went on the 15-day IL. So we had it and lost it already.
Maybe they'll call Keiko back up. How's that sound?
Yeah, the Reds need him. They'll make a trade for him. That would be something, wouldn't it?
Tomorrow, we will be dark here at ECSI. I will be up at stores moving my daughter in. And then Saturday, if my memory serves me correctly, Scotty Webb is – were you on last Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know. You texted me saying you wanted me Saturday and you'll have Scotty Sunday. I don't know if that's still accurate or not.
That's the way we're looking
Okay.
at it. So we'll have do a little week 0 with you and MLB on Saturday. Scotty will be back on Sunday for some MLB. And then during the week, you and I will put together. I'm just going to pre-warn you, okay? Pre-warn you that your Big Ten Week 1 will be live. We will not pre-record that, so we'll be live on that. And so be ready for that. And then week 2, though, might be pre-recorded. I'm stuck in Vegas for 6 days, so we'll figure
Either
that
way,
out.
it's a hell of a slate for Big Ten, the actual week 1. You've got some actual in-conference games, and they 2 on Thursday, or 1 in-conference game on Thursday night, another non-conference game that Thursday night, a couple on Friday as well, and then a handful on Saturday, including my Illinois State Redbirds, my alumni, going into Wisconsin to try and pull off an upset there in Camp Randall that Saturday.
What's the line on that? 30?
I don't see one yet. It'll probably, I would imagine 35. Respectable FCS program, but yeah, they're not going to have much success going into Camp Randall there.
I think you'd have a better shot getting the plus 18 in hoops. How's that against Wisconsin?
I think we actually gave him, we gave some Big Ten team a run for their money recently. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Closer matchup there. Yeah, still don't see a spread on that one for the following week, but I'll sprinkle $1 on my Redbirds to get the win and get a crazy payout there. How about that?
Shout out to SoCal again. Thanks for reaching out. Thank you for all those amazing stats that you sent us. Look for a big dog to be barking me tonight. Remember, SoCal will be in around the 5th or 6th inning, so make sure you stay tuned there. Myself at EC Sports Invest, Riley at Riley_Magnuson1. We can't thank you guys enough. Without you guys, there's no ECSI. We've made it to football season. So everyone following us, applause. We got through the dog days of summer, and we look forward to a great fall. And I'm just going to say this very softly. November 1st, college basketball starts. Wink, wink, So I know everyone's hot and horny for football. That's why I said it. We'll have some starter NBA and NHL. Some big stuff still brewing. We're going to put some new shows together with Riley, with Andrew McGinnis, and a few others. Just going to add a little fresh, upbeat, have some fun, some armchair talk while we get ready for the week. And I know everyone's doing it. So while everyone's doing it, why can't we do it? We'll set some trends, not follow some trends. How's that, right?
Sounds good to me. Shoffley just poured one in as I was watching. I think that might have been a long par, but nonetheless, yeah, we will be locked and loaded for the next handful of months, my friend.
And as SoCal says, need NHL back, could care less about football. Listen, I'm going to tell you something right now, okay? I've told the story a million times, so this is the last story for the week, okay, guys? I love football. I'm not saying I don't, but I enjoy the kids. I enjoy the grind Monday through Saturday. My big day has always been on Saturday. I have 100 football games to sift through. When it's college basketball, I have 150. Whether we play 3 games, 5 games, 8 games, the week is complete. Sunday NFL, guys, when you go to Vegas and then you see the Bellagio, you see the fountains, and then you see the Cosmo, you see the Aria, you look across the street to Paris, and then you go down to the Venetian, then you go over to Circa, and then South Point. The point is, they're built on NFL and Sundays, okay? Everyone wakes up in August and says, I can't wait for football. I am going to crush these bookies. I know more than anyone else. There's 3 things about football. 1, everyone claims to know everything. Number 2, everyone's got a favorite team or 3, or 2, or 3. And number 3, no one knows shit, as Dave Sharapan has to say. Okay? So you wake up Monday morning and you see the 1 o'clock slate, you play 5 games and you go 1-4. And then the slate shrinks. And now at 4 o'clock, you play all 4 games and you go 1-3. Okay? Now you're stuck at Sunday night. You owe the man 2 dimes and you got probably 50 cents in your pocket. How the hell do I get out? Well, I'll bet the favorite in the over. It's clockwork, guys.
Yeah.
So just because football's back doesn't mean we go to the window double-fisted, okay? Because you do that the first 2 weeks, and then you end up playing the parlay cards for the rest of the season. You don't even make it to Thanksgiving, okay?
That's not the recipe. That's not the recipe. And track your bets. I've over the last few years, I love entertainment-wise to do some touchdown scorer bets. But after tracking it, I'm so unprofitable at touchdown scorer bets that I have to throw them away completely. As much as it is entertaining and it's exciting when that one wins, that is one that I've just thrown to the wayside almost entirely. And I'll maybe aside from a dollar lottery ticket on a parlay or something like that. But aside from that, I've thrown it out. Track your bets and analyze yourself and what's working and what's not working as well.
And just to close, get ready for the Photoshop 2025 30 leg parlays coming in the first couple of weeks. Okay, they're Photoshop.
We'll see one on Saturday for what is there 8-9 games. We'll see a 9-teamer on Saturday.
Exactly. And then they're coming. So anyways, thanks again from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson the one. We wish everyone a blessed day. Have some fun. Cash a few tickets. ECSI dark tomorrow, but we'll be back Saturday and Sunday morning. Have a night, guys. See you soon.